Hello, this is Recovery Road with OIKEKE IGADO KURE. Welcome to this edition of the program. In the last few decades, there has been an alarming rise in the use of drugs and illicit substances by students in various learning institutions, and this has brought so much concern to parents, teachers themselves, and other professional bodies that are involved in creating an enabling and healthy work and learning environment for our students. Today on this program, my colleague and I, John Okoro, will be looking at the rising incidents of drug abuse in our institutions. What are the implications? What are the effects on the learners? How do we curb this? How do we reverse this rise in the use of drugs by our students? This will be our focus of a discussion today. John Okoro is a media practitioner. He's also a social worker and a public affairs analyst. John, it's good to see you today.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing? The weather is very, very hot in Abuja.
The weather is punishing.
And the funniest thing is that we don't even see light anymore.
No power, no rain.
So
it's
okay, so it's terrible, really. We hope that very soon something would begin to happen for us to have relief. But we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue the discussions in full.
According to global estimates, millions of young Nigerians are grappling with drug use and its disorders. What are the implications of this on our public health, national security, economy, education, and family? Join OIKEKE IGADO KURE on robust discussions, sharing facts on drugs. What are the solutions? How do we find help, even for those affected? Every Wednesdays at 4:30 p.m. on Eagles One Drugs. Save our youths to save our nation. This is an initiative of the Patriot Media Educational Foundation.
It's great to have you back. This is Recovery Road on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. My name is OIKEKE IGADO KURE. John, studies have shown that the prevalence of drug and substance use amongst secondary school students are the highest in the in the US, United States, followed by the United Nations, UK, and Canada, Australia. But here in Nigeria, findings conducted have shown that amongst secondary and higher institution students, there is this strong rise in the use of drugs by our students, by these young persons, even at the secondary school levels. The use of cocaine, codeine, especially the use of tramadol, Indian hemp, are just amongst the other numerous drugs that are being used. In fact, I was speaking to a lecturer when I went to visit one of my daughters in the university recently, and the lecturer was telling me that, look, it got so bad that some of the students who could not or cannot afford to sponsor their drug habits resort into all kinds of things like inhaling petrol tanks, lizard stool, and all kinds of things. What is really happening?
I think it is a very big social problem, drug abuse amongst young people, students here particularly. I know it's there's also another statistics that we have that says that amongst the youthful demography in the country, the youth, that you have about 40%. The youth themselves make up about 50% of the general population of Nigeria.
Yes.
Then now, out of this particular number, you have about 40% of these youths hooked on drugs. And when you talk about the educational sector, we're also talking about the youths, because the students are youths.
Yes,
They are
they're the
youths.
young persons.
And it is a very serious problem, I must say, because we have been hearing, we have been seeing, stories, reports of kids, even in secondary school, and even at the time we even heard that in primary school as well, that there's also some kind of prevalence.
Yes,
Of,
I
drug
remember.
use, even
I
in
remember.
primary school.
Yes, I remember one time where some persons were arrested over what that cookies. They sell cookies at primary and secondary schools. Where they implant drugs, drug-laced cookies.
Drugs.
Yes,
That's true. That is true. So if they don't have the clientele or the patronage, there's no way they can sell those things, those cookies laced with drugs, within the premises of primary school, secondary school. So because they have the people who use them, even though it was like a secret at the time, but sometime it got busted. But it is, like I said before, it is a very big social problem within the system, because if you want to look at the effects, the general effect, because the youthful population is the most active and the most productive demography of a country. When we talk about the country's future, we talk about the youths. When this very particular important demography is being decimated by drug abuse, so even for the future of the country, it is very, very bleak.
It's so sad. These days you see all kinds of things. Like, for instance, you can see young persons with maybe things like bottles of drinks, and then you think that, okay, this is just water, maybe just a bottle of drink, soft drinks. But by the end of the day, what you see in these bottles are things like drowsy cough syrups. You also see things like, it's not just water, you see things like all kinds of things, and then you see these young persons just moving around holding something like bottled water. Meanwhile, what is inside is solutions of all kinds. So it's a very serious thing. Let's look at some of the effects of this on their academic performance. For instance, can someone who is involved in doing drugs, taking some of these things, how can they do well in the schools academically? Is it possible?
It's not possible, because for you to do well academically, at least you have to have your brain intact. And what do these drugs do to the brain? These drugs, because they are hallucinogenic kind of you say that the person is under some kind of euphoria, and the person is high. Now, what does that mean? What it simply means is that somehow, somewhere in the brain, there's been some kind of alteration of our sensory perception, alteration of the motor ability, alteration of the cognitive ability, because it is that cognitive ability that the person needs to study.
Yes.
Now, these things are altered. Your attitude is altered, character altered, perception altered by these drugs. So there's no way you can concentrate.
Yeah.